Hey there, FLOSSTUBErs. This is Johnny Saxon coming in with some content. This is my first FLOSSTUBE. Just kind of getting into the whole thing. I'm very much into cross stitch, so I kind of want to show people what I'm currently working on, the stuff that I've got in, whips, some of the finished stuff that I've got as well. But yeah, just it'd be great and interesting to start this and just, get the work that I'm kind of like currently working on out there and just talk about it. Cause I love it. I love cross stitch. It's, become a real big part of my life, part of my daily life, basically. Every day I'm putting in some stitches on a project. So, I'm expecting RSI very, very soon. Actually, I'm already having some issues with my little finger. So like, I'm going around talking to my partner just saying, my pinky's not working. What does this mean? I know you don't use pinkies for cross-stitching, but it still hurts. So I'm kind of like there, putting in the needle, and I'm like, ugh, why does it feel dead and numb? But anyways, but yeah, look, a little bit of history about my cross-stitching. The history, basically is that, when I was younger, my mum was very much into tapestries and thread work or needlework, and she used to do a lot of like different embroidery stuff, and she'd have all these works around in our house, like big stuff. Well, the thing is, it's not cross stitch on like 14 count or 28 count. That's not what she did. She did mainly like the big tapestries. So we're talking about 2 meters by 1.5 meter works. And the one that always fascinated me when I was younger was this beautiful sort of like 18th century sort of work. Now that I look into it, she did 10 stitch, so she didn't do like a full cross stitch. But I don't think the tapestries asked for that. Or maybe that was her. I never really asked her actually if that was her creative choice, if she did that. But basically, she's got this huge tapestry that I used to be infatuated by when I was younger. That, I'd look into it and I'd follow the story. It had like, 4 or 5 different sort of people in it. 3 of them were ladies and 2 of them were men with those, those wigs, the white wigs they used to wear to hide their illnesses. But yeah, it was just an interesting piece. But then she had all this other stuff as well, like some embroidery work where it was like, I think there was one where it was just on black canvas and she used gold thread, and she did just the outline of a lady, and the lady had like her bosoms out and all that. And I remember just seeing that going like, it just was very interesting work and stuff that I don't see that much these days. I always wondered, like, I still don't see much in tapestries. I find it's harder to find stuff like that, though I really one day want to do something big. That's like in the works anyway. But in the meantime, let's start off slow. So going back to that, my mother was like, yeah, she got into it. She had to stop though, because she ended up getting some injuries or arthritis in her hand, and she couldn't really continue. And I found out also that she never used rings or anything like that. So she never had the fabric taught. She always did it by hand, which I find really difficult. But yeah, so I was fascinated by then. I remember when I was younger, I asked my mum if she could get me something like that I could work on. I think I was like about 8 or 9 years old. And she went and bought me like this little bear, like these little cute little bears with rainbows. Look, the truth is my dad wasn't very happy about me doing needlework because he's a very conservative old Greek man. And yeah, it's interesting, but I had to stop it. I won't go into the full story, but he just wasn't very happy about it. So I remember stopping it, and then I didn't really touch it for a long time. So when I say a long time, I mean like it took 28 years. I'm 38 years old now. I got into it, not 28 years. I got into it about 4 years ago again. So yeah, so basically about 4 years ago, I went and purchased my first, I don't know, I kind of like used to do puzzles and all that kind of stuff to kind of feed that need of doing something with my hands and creating a project. One of the things about cross stitch that I find is that it kind of like keeps me being creative. I know that you're looking at a pattern and you're kind of putting the stitches in based on something else that someone else has made artwork wise, but it still feels like you're making something. So I find that to be a real need for me. I've always had that need. More so these days because I used to be creative in my job, but that sort of has fizzled out and now I'm more in a management position. So I'm not finding that my days are fulfilled. So I think that's why I turned to cross stitch about 4 years ago, because that's when I basically around the period of time where I did turn to management. But yes, so since then it's been a growing obsession of mine. I got into FLOSSTUBE about 4 years ago as well. That was probably where it all just started kind of just coming together as this, the big obsession, the big, I can't explain. It's every day. But yeah, so I started off small. I think I started off with a dimensions kit. I say small, but now I know that dimensions kits are actually quite difficult with the many colors within the threads that you're putting through, or the strands that you need per stitch. But this one, yeah, I did it and it's terrible. Like, I think I didn't understand the whole how to move across the fabric. So all my stitches were just being pulled into different directions. My tension was all wrong. There are so many mistakes on that stag. If I can get I'll try and take a picture and I'll add it in here just so you can see which one it is. But my work on it was not the greatest. But nevertheless, it was the first one that I did. And I remember kind of going, well, if there's all these like cute... Because the thing about cross stitch is it always seemed very old to me. It always seemed like the designs were not suited to what I liked contemporary-wise. So, the stag itself was nice, but I was like, oh, I don't want to get an old-timey one, because every time I went to Spotlight, which is our local sort of like fabric store or craft store here in Australia, or in Sydney, Australia, I'd go there and they'd always have like waratah flowers or, birds. And I'm sure some people love that. It's not my cup of tea when it comes to the designs that I like to work on, or that I feel like that I want to like personally work on. But then I discovered, well, I didn't discover, Etsy was there and I found it, and Etsy had heaps of stuff. There's so much good stuff on Etsy. My God. There was like all these beautiful designs, but they were all like geometric designs. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, little contemporary stuff like that. So I bought like all these patterns and I've made 2 of them. I don't have them here. I actually took them into work and hung them on the wall so I can have like a little bit of an icebreaker when people walk through the door, and they'll be like, oh, what's this? Did you make this? Yeah, I made it. And they're like, oh, from scratch? And it's like, no, it's not my art, but thank you. But it's basically on my wall. Anyways, I'll put photos of what they are here. One thing I discovered like from Etsy is that there are so many nice designs on Etsy. They're too blocky. Most of the designs are too simple. So I found that on these pieces that I'd just be constantly doing just a block of color and it gets boring. I like the different threads. I'm going to say it, and I know a lot of people, I've been on FLOSSTUBE for a while now and I understand what people's thoughts are on dimensions kits. I love dimensions kits. I love the different colors within a strand. I love it because it's like painting. Like you're putting it together and you're like, oh, this makes an interesting look and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if there's many other people out there that feel the same, but I personally like it. It's challenging. Where was I? I feel like I lost my train of thought. But anyways, I've got into this Etsy store stuff, and then I decided actually there's not really much on Etsy that I kind of want anymore. I want to venture out into other different sort of, just different sort of designs. And look, I'll go through all the designs that I've kind of picked up over the years. I've got some finished stuff that I can show as well, and then I've got the whips that I'm currently working on, and I can show you that. But yeah, I just found that I was sort of fascinated by you know, a little bit more complex kits. There is a little bit of a theme with the stuff that I like. I do like the wizardry and sort of like mage type. I actually I just purchased off eBay. It was one of those moments, you know, those moments when you're just on eBay and you're kind of looking, you're like, should I? Oh God, that's a lot of money. And then it's like, yeah, $180 out of your bank. 180 Australian dollars gone. So I purchased, or I've been looking to purchase the Teresa Wensler chart and actually kit as well with the threads for the Enchanter. The thing is that I find, like, as a male cross stitcher, there's lots of, you know, female figures, you know, fairies and you know, witches, all that kind of stuff, and I love that. And I'm actually working on a couple, but I kind of wanted to mix it up a little bit and have more male figures, so I kind of went for like the mages and the wizards, but there's not that many. But I did love this piece. I'll see if I can put a photo of it here, of Teresa Wensler's The Enchanter. The colors are like subtle and understated, a bit grey, but the design itself looks beautiful. And Teresa Wensler, being a 90s designer, I found that I do like her stuff, her sort of imagery, though she does go into like religious symbols and all that. I'm not really that big a religious person. I wouldn't like stitch one, but she's got some good stuff. But the Enchanter, I'm really looking forward to getting that. Anyways, after Etsy, you know, like I said, I've got into all this other stuff. FLOSSTUBE has been a real influence on the decisions that I've made on some stuff. There have been some people that have like mentioned books. Some of these FLOSSTUBers that I follow, if I can remember their names, I'll see if I can add it into the comments field. But yeah, I might as well just start showing you all the stuff that I've got. It might be all mixed up. I don't really know. I don't really have a format for this stuff. But anyways, let's go. Okay, well, firstly, I'll just show you some of the stuff that I've got. So the first one that I got, this one I ordered off Amazon, I believe. I haven't really started this. Well, I have, but I just don't. It's a lot of work, and I don't really know if the design is the perfect thing that I like, but this is, where am I showing it? This is Glamour Girl in Green. I'm not really sure who the designer is. XS Collectibles is where I got it from. So look, I'll just show it again. So she's very pretty, and the only reason why I bought her was because I think that if I finish this off, it would match very nicely with one of the sort of emerald green chairs that I've got downstairs in my dining area. Yeah, I just thought, oh, you know, this would be an interesting piece to put downstairs near the living room, or, you know, where you have people over for cocktails. It sort of matches the mood. Anyway, she's very pretty. I do like her. I just haven't been drawn to her to actually start working on her. But yeah, I've put her on a... let me see if I can grab this. Ooh. Oh my God. I'm causing a fuss here. All right. And we got it. So I bought this sort of stand from, I actually don't know where I bought it from. But anyways, I started her on 8 or 14 count because I really didn't know about linen or anything back then. But yeah, so as you can see, like I started just doing the blocks and then I stopped. I'm going to say it. This is shit. Don't like it. I'm going to take it off it. I'm going to throw it. I really don't like it. It just doesn't work for me. It's not my style. To be honest, I've realized I'm more of a hoops guy. I prefer the hoop. Though I did actually, just off topic and off tangent, I did go to like there's a store down here. Well, I live in an area called Marrickville in Sydney, Australia. And it's pretty it's one of the hip suburbs now. Never used to be, but it is now. There's a place called Reverse Garbage, which sells like whatever. Like they find all these off-cuts, or if people have like stock of anything that they started as a business and then it just fell through, they would just give it to Reverse Garbage and then they just sell it there. Thing is that I did find this secondhand embroidery stand, and it's so old, but it's so like solid. And I've recently just started woodwork, like 2 terms in now, done it for like 6 months. And I just thought, you know what, this would be interesting. I'm going to grab this, sand it back, give it a nice new finish, like a nice oil, and then use it. So it's right now in my garage, just waiting for me to actually make the move. When I make the move, if... Okay, next thing that I've got, I just ordered this about 2 months ago. So there's this magazine called, well, I think it's worldwide. It says Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada. Anyways, it's called Cross Stitch and Beading, this magazine here. So obviously try not to show the pattern. I mean, there's a lot of nice designs in here that would appeal to some people other than me. I'm like not that much of a fan, but there's this one design in it where I was like, okay, this is very, very nice. It's called Winter by D. Noyce. I think I saw a floss tuber working on this. What I like about it is, I'll show you here. What I like about it is that it's a lot of backstitch. And it's just an interesting sort of, like all these patterns are very interesting. I just think that would look beautiful up on a wall somewhere. Like if I could get, like you could do that on a higher count, on a lower count and make it bigger and it would still look nice because it's just backstitch. So this is a design that I'm really, really interested in doing. I think it would just look really, really pretty. Nice, that's one. I haven't started that at all. I'm not going to just yet. Recently I went down to Hobart and there was a store down there. I cannot remember the name of it, but this is one cross stitch store. If I do remember the name of it, I'll link it. But this store was beautiful. Love it. I walked in, I was in Candyland. It was fantastic. It was a beautiful, like, I just picture this, right? We got to Hobart, me and my partner. We decided to go on this big walk because we love walking. It was like maybe a 10-15 kilometer walk around Hobart because we wanted to experience it. And plus, what else are you going to do? Like, I don't know the area, so I just needed to explore. So we explored, and then as we were exploring, I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's a cross-stitch store or like a cross-stitch supply store in Hobart. Because I saw lots of sewing stores there. And I was like, I wonder if it's a thing here. So I looked it up and I found this place. I don't look like a general cross-stitcher. I don't know what a general cross-stitcher looks like, but I doubt people think of me when they think of someone who cross-stitches. Either way, I walked in, I felt very much like everyone was like, who's this man? Does he know where he is? I walked in, my eyes widened. My partner was there going, oh my God, what the fuck are we doing here? Needless to say, I got him on a mission. I said to him, go around the store, find what you like. I'm going to go around and find what I like, which was everything. And we just met in the middle, and then I looked at the stuff that he got and I looked at the stuff that I got, and I was like, okay, I like this, I like that, I want this. There was all this beautiful fabric there. The owner, I can't remember her name, but she was lovely, very, very sweet. And I swear I'd go down to Hobart just to go back there into the store. It's all well and nice to purchase online, but going into the store, it just feels, I don't know, just when you can touch it with your hands, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. Anyways, I picked up a lot of stuff from this store, projects that I would like to start on. This one's by Rosewood Manor, the design by Karen Kluber. It's called Winter Hill. And I just thought this one's kind of like a sampler. And look, I like samplers. I think some of them are really, really pretty. Some of them can be very, very boring as well. But this one, I don't know, just took my fancy. I like the colors. I just like the overall feeling, the design. It's almost Christmassy, I guess, because of the Christmas tree or that tree in the middle. But yeah, that's one of the pieces. That one I chose myself. Now I'm going to show you what my partner chose. Actually, to be honest, all of these are what my partner chose. I don't think I had a moment to pick. I think I asked him what he'd like up in the house, and he's like, these. All right. Well, one widely known designer is Nora Corbett. So this is one of the designs. I swear I've seen this on FLOSSTUBE as well by another person working on it. It's really pretty. I like the colors. Emerald green, actually. It would match that other one that I showed you of the girl in green. So that's Nora Corbett. This one's a little bit more gothic. Miss Spider. I can imagine all that backstitch and beading work. Oh my God. It's going to be very delicate. So I can only... I'm a bit worried about delicate work. And look, I'm only starting like my first beading ever. Like I've never done beading before, but I've got one that I'm working on. I'll show you. So the other one that I've got is by Barbara Anna Design. This one my partner really, really likes. I got two of her designs actually. So this one's Dreaming Girl. Again, I don't know. Sorry, the light. Unfortunately from okay, maybe that's a little bit better. So this is Dreaming Girl. I've seen some people do this one as well. She's very pretty. I think that I can do a better background. And I think I remember seeing someone change her hair to red, or it's brown there, but I think a more red or maybe blonde they did. I don't know if I'm going to change it. That's the end of that. The other one, the other Barbara Anna design is Garden of Dreams. So this is another one that my partner chose that he really liked, that I'm going to probably work on at some point. But truth is, I didn't choose it, so where does it go in priority? All right, next on the list of things that I've picked up. I think I was watching a FLOSSTUBER. I'm going to just see if I've got her name here. She's Kitschy Whips. I believe this is Kitschy Whips. She was going through this book that she found, a cross-stitch book called Myth and Magic. So this one here. There you go, Myth and Magic. So just going off what I mentioned before, the fact that I enjoy wizards and mages and all that kind of stuff, I thought this book was a given for me to purchase. So there is one design in here that I want to do. One or two. There's actually probably a couple. So Teresa Wensler has got designs in here that are beautiful, that I would love to work on. One of them, I believe, is the Princess and the Dragon. I don't see where the pattern is though. Oh, okay, sorry, it's a little bit later. So there's the Princess and the Dragon and then Merlin the Wizard. So Princess and the Dragon is what you see. Oh gosh, sorry guys, give me 1 second. So it's this here. Princess and the Dragon. So it's got that Teresa Wensler look, that faded, almost like, I guess pastel? I wonder what it would look like on a higher count, like not doing it on 14 count, but just going a little bit lower and seeing if that detail sort of pops through a lot nicer. Merlin the Wizard. Again, just runs with the theme of stuff that I want to do. And then I can't show. Then they've got like these little motifs that you can use in different works, like if you decide to do some freestyle stuff and work on it. Okay, so this is the one that I bought it for. I bought this basically because of one design in here. Who designed this? Designed by Susan Penny. Okay, this is the Frost Fairy. I love video games, and I'm a massive fan of Final Fantasy. This reminds me so much of Final Fantasy, of one of the Frost goddess, basically. Oh, what are their names? Oh, such a massive fan. I can't even remember the name. Massive fan. Can't find it. Either way, there's a frosty lady. Anyways, this is the design. And I looked at this and I was just like, this is interesting. Like, it's a mess. Look at that, like that thread work that needs to be done. It's crazy. Like, it's gonna be crazy to do, but I'm excited. Like, I saw it, I was like, this is gonna be great. What a fantastic pattern. Like, who the hell came up with that? Just beautiful. Very excited to get that one started. I have a feeling that that's a 2023 project. We'll see. There's a lot of projects. Okay, next on my list, this is one of those eBay purchases. Dimensions kit. And this is The Magnificent Wizard by Don Mates. So this one's going to be fun to do. Doesn't it give you like that 80s like metal sort of design feeling? Like, that's what it feels like. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, this is the cover of an album from the 80s. Mind you, I don't listen to heavy metal, so I have no idea what that is. I'm more of a dark wave punk sort of guy. Alright. Do I have anything else in terms of what's in the works? No, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. Now I guess I can just show you what I'm currently working on. Look, there is actually more. I've got like patterns that I have on my computer. I think there's one that I saw, like a sampler that's Alice in Wonderland, that I really, really want to do. You know what? I'll see if I can actually add it here so I can show you who it is. I don't remember the designer, but I'm sure I can put it in this little area here. But this Alice in Wonderland design looks so pretty, and it's one of my favorite fairy tales. So, yeah, I'm a massive fan of surrealism. All right, so current projects that I'm working on, and then I'll talk about the finished stuff. Bella Filipina, my first. Bellatrix. So she is a beautiful, beautiful lady, the Bellatrix. And she is. I saw this and I was like, of course I have to buy this. I love it. Beautiful colors, very gothic. I love that sort of like witchy horror element sort of stuff, if you haven't noticed, with the wizardry. So I started her last year in November. I just recently did a Ted Lasso reaction and she was also on that. But here she is. So that's where she's currently at. I've got, like, I'd take her off, but to be honest, I don't want to. But I've only done a little bit of stitching on the right over here. I remember I went into my local stitch store. I'm just going to leave it there. I went into my local stitch store, and which is called Stitch, funnily enough, in God, where is it? Somewhere in North Sydney. And they recommended that I put fabric on the hoop, obviously, to just make it help with the taut, like how taut the fabric is, especially with this linen, this grey sort of linen. I found that it's too springy, so I need the fabric to be taut. It doesn't work otherwise for me. But yeah, she's coming along well. I'm not doing any of the beadwork yet. I'm waiting until, I finish the whole kind of like stitching. What I've done actually is what I've seen on many people's channels, but I'm going in, like, so this is done on is it a 28 count? I think it's a 28 count linen. I went in and did that little microscopic tent stitches. I did them all as tent stitches, not full cross in the smaller count. I don't think I have the patience to do a full cross. It takes a long time to just do the skin. So, and it's also just really hard on the eyes. I have to end up using, my partner bought me this present, but he bought me these microscopic like little glasses to kind of just really get into it. They're quite funny. They've got like little light bulb thing at the top, though I don't need it. I've already got a light that I use. I went on Amazon and purchased myself one of these little book lights. And I found that I actually bought it for reading, and then I was like, oh, this would be interesting to use on my cross stitch. Game changer. Got that, game changer. So with Bellatrix, what I do is I rather than use the paper pattern, I use Pattern Keeper. Another thing that has been sort of taught to me from FLOSSTUBE. I've got like my Android tablet that I keep to the side here for using with Pattern Keeper. Thing about these designs though is that they're not online, so I can't just transfer it over with a PDF, like especially Bella Filipina. So I end up having to do the whole like take a photo and scan it and all that kind of stuff. Though the best thing that I found to do is I actually have a photocopier at work that scans and sends emails. So I actually ended up taking the paper pattern to my work, scanning it all, sending myself PDFs, then taking those PDFs into Pattern Keeper, and then it's a much easier, it doesn't distort the lines as much, so it's an easier sort of setup. I don't know if anyone's ever done the Pattern Keeper thing, but it takes ages. It's actually a task. Just as it is to put wind floss on your bobbins, it's a task to just get these paper patterns ready into Pattern Keeper. Though once they're in, again, it's just so much easier. So yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. So yeah, skin, that's what I was talking about. Anyways, I've been working on her since November. I'm what you would call maybe like a semi-monogamous stitcher. Like I work on her up here in this room while, I watch stuff. But then downstairs in the living room, I can't take Bella. She's way too complicated to take downstairs to the living room while I watch, TV with my partner. So I need something a little bit more simple. I'll tell you what I'm working on there. I'm actually going to talk about needle minders. That needle minder, it's nothing special. I did purchase that one from a gift store here in Marrickville. I just saw it there and I'm like, oh my God, a needle minder. I haven't seen this here. So I purchased. Because that's all I do these days. I just purchase. The stand that I got, I think it's... this is the best stand so far that I've used. I love it. It's maneuverable. It works for me. Put a hoop on it. I'm set. Sit at my desk. I'm set. I don't use it... Like, apparently it's meant to put under your leg and you use it and you can put it on here. It's too close. I need it, like, here. Next to my face as I work on it. One other thing that I've started doing is I was on bobbins, but like everyone else, I'm on the trend at the moment, and the trend is thread drops. So I ended up organizing all my threads for this on thread drops, and actually I just prefer it. I went through, I did all the cuts to my elbow. I usually work 2 strands on the counts that I work on anyway, so I just do to the elbow twice and put it on here. So far so good. It's better. I mean, like, I work on dimensions kits and they give you the paper cut out with the holes in it, and it's no different. And I prefer those too, because with the bobbins you have to undo. It's actually a time waster. These days I don't really have much time, so I just want to make sure that I get as much of it as possible. All right, so downstairs, when I'm in the living room, I like to work on something a little bit more monochrome. So I started the design from, oh my God, am I going to remember who it is? Modern Folk Embroidery. This is their 2021 Stitch Along. I'll take this off. And then I'll show you where it's at. I've got my llama needle minder here. I'll show you that as well, because it's actually my favorite needle minder. I need more needle minders in my life though. I got that one. That one I think was from Etsy that I purchased a while back. I like to think it's a he. I don't know if it's going to focus. Does this focus? Either way, I love him. All right, so we've got this baby. Take him off the hoop. So So I just stitched this in my hand. I didn't take the hoop stand for this one because there's no need. It's not really that big a work. You know what? It's going to be a lot of work. Me taking this out of the hoop and then putting it back in. That's annoying. All right. So here we go. Don't want to lose that needle. So I've started this one in maybe July last year, and I've worked it quite a bit. You're gonna have to forgive the folds in the tapestry. It's a pretty big, the folds in the fabric. It's a pretty big project, but I started that. I've done the top half. Just gonna complete this little motif here soon. I'm just doing the edges around, but that's what she's looking like at the moment. It's a really pretty design. I remember seeing it, and I follow Modern Folk Embroidery on FLOSSTUBE, and I mean the guy is very talented. He makes some beautiful designs. Obviously, there's history, and he's got that history with his design. Like, you know, he researches everything, and that's just he's pretty fantastic. It is him, right? Modern folk embroidery. I have to double check myself because I don't want to give wrong information. Yeah, that's right. I don't know his name, but he's very popular, I've realized. And he's made a lot of videos lately with like music and all that kind of stuff. So he's also very talented. So this is the Stitch Along from 2021. Love it. Really easy to work on. The linen that I'm using is just a basic beige linen. Like, there's really nothing special about it. It's actually quite hard. It's not like a soft one, which is preferable because it's easier to stitch on. A bit more starchy, I guess. But yeah, like once that's finished, I don't know what I'm thinking of doing with it. Like, it is going to look nice on the wall, but I don't know if like it's something I can give to my mom or give to someone as a present. I haven't thought about it. I don't know if my partner really likes it. Either way. Okay, this one's an interesting one. It's nothing crazy. I started an embroidery thing about 2 years ago. I don't think I'm ever going to finish it. So I'll show it here, and it could be the last time I ever show it. I bought it off eBay. It's a Merry Christmas embroidery thing. I am terrible at embroidery. I don't know how to do it. I need tips. Like this, I look at that and I'm like, that's just wrong. That's not correct. Yeah, it's probably a little bit too loose for me. Maybe I need something a little bit more controlled. But yeah, working on that. All right, now finished stuff. So if I haven't shown it already before when I talked about it, I've got 2 finishes that I did that are at work. That's hanging on the wall there. I've got 1 finish, which is a stag. That's the first one I ever did, which is downstairs on the wall as well. And my last one, this one took... Okay, so this one is called the Scarlet Wizard. So this guy here is very expensive. I bought him cheap. I feel like he was cheaper. Oh, I just realized. Look what I found. It wasn't a Dimensions, it was a Riolis. Is that a Russian brand? Anyway, that's the stag. See that background? Printed background. Like, I went easy for my first project. But look, it's very pretty. And, you know, it was deemed suitable for the wall from my partner, so fine. Okay, so Scarlet Wizard, which is this guy over here. I remember I had someone come in to give me a quote on blinds, and he saw it on my desk and he's like, "Oh, are you into Jesus?" And I'm like, it's clear as day that this guy's a wizard. He's got a hat. I mean, I stitched the hat. The hat was there. So I was just, I'm like, Jesus doesn't wear a hat. But thank you. Thank you for not understanding fantasy. Anyways, this one took forever. I think it was 18 months. Well, I mean, I guess that's normal. But here he is in all his glory. So, yeah, I'll take it in a bit close. But that is what he looks like. My favorite thing about it is the dragon. The dragon up here. I just love how the stitch work and just the overall design, just how it actually makes that come through. I found it very difficult to do the backstitch in the gold thread. I mean, that's why I actually ended up purchasing Thread Magic just to help with those threads because they're so stiff. But yeah, like he's just a very good looking project. The candles, everything about it is just very detailed work. This is why I like Dimensions kits. They are detailed. They're a bitch. They're detailed and they're fun to work on. They take forever. I was so close. I have no bleed on this fabric either. Like I was so close to the top and the bottom. I was like, what? This is the fabric that they gave me. So I just worked off the Aida that they gave. It was a 16 count Aida, I think. 16 count? Yeah, it was an 18 count. It was 16. But yeah, like I love this one. I think when I finished this one, I thought to myself, all right, this is a serious cross stitch. You did well. You know what I mean? But now, working on Bella Filipina's project and yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's sort of my cross stitch journey currently. I feel like I don't know if I can do monthly updates of this. I can give like monthly updates of my whips, but I can't purchase more stuff. It's like there's a lot there that I need to get through. And being a monogamous stitcher, I'm not going to see them. I have to get to them over time. One thing that I have done recently though is that I've gotten my partner into cross stitch as well. So when we were down in Hobart, I got him to actually pick a piece himself from another stitch store that we went to. A little less cross stitch than that one. I can't remember the name, but he ended up picking this like bookmark cross stitch with a robot on it saying beep boop boop up or whatever it is. Anyways, he started working on that. So many mistakes. And he's he enjoyed it, and then I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes. Let me tinker with this new ability that you're creating, and ended up getting him some Etsy designs. Like he really loves X-Files, so I went and got him some UFO like hoop designs. So he started working on that, and then I was like very rigid because he was putting his bottom left to top right from like he was changing his stitch order, and I was just like, no. In this house we stitch from bottom left to top right and bottom right to top left. There is no question about it. And now he's doing that, and he's so like careful, and he's like, oh, am I doing it correctly? And he shows it. When I'm downstairs in the living room, if the thread catches or anything like that, he would just like hand it to me and be like, I don't know, fix it. And me being the person I'm like, sure, like I'll fix it. But yeah, I recently purchased for him for his Christmas present. I was looking for my phone. It's right here. This is where my phone is. Basically, this project that I got him was this. It's a pirate ship cross stitch. It has like these little skeleton. Oh, here we go. So it's the Glendon Place Poltergeist Pirates. You can find that here. I'll just put a picture of it. We were watching, I think it was Teresa Little Stitcher, who I love, by the way. Love watching her. Great floss tuber. Can't recommend enough. But she was at some retreat and she was going over people's FFOs or finished, I don't know the abbreviations, finished projects. And that one popped up, and he was in the room watching, and he was like, wow. He goes, that's a really, really nice one. He loves pirate ships. It's one of his favorites, or favorite things. And I just saw how much he loved it, and I went to see how much it would cost. It cost a lot of money. Anyway, either way, I bought it and gave it to him as a Christmas present. If he doesn't work on it, I will work on it. It is a beautiful piece. I'm not into pirate ships, but it looks like a fun one to work on. But yeah, there's quite, I think I went through quite a bit there, but look, that's basically me in a nutshell when it comes to cross stitch. I think I am quite into it. I do like it quite a bit, and I'm hoping to just get some more projects done and do another floss tube maybe with an update a little later. So yeah, look, if you guys have any questions that you want to send my way, I'm going to try my best to put links everywhere. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'll do my best. But I'm really excited to start this journey on FLOSSTUBE, and hope you enjoyed this content. And please, if you have any comments that you'd like to say, put it down in the comments field. If you also want to subscribe, please do. I also do reactions. Trying out this thing called Stitch and React, where I stitch and watch, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. FLOSSTUBE, I feel like I'm just going to do regardless. But yes, please, send me your, if you have any questions or comments. Very lovely to do this, and I will see. I don't have a sign off yet, but this is my sign off. Goodbye.